Hello, today I am going to discuss electric field and potential. Consider a charge Q at any point, and if we place this charge, there will be electric field around it, and we can measure the electric field at any point placing a test charge there, and this test charge must be unit positive charge. Suppose the distance of this test charge from this charge Q charge is R. So according to Coulomb interaction, the electric field will be 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught Q over R square R hat, where R hat is the unit vector directed from the Q vector to the unit positive charge. Q charge to unit positive charge. And in this way, this gives the electric field. In this way, if we place the positive charge, unit positive charge at different points, we will get this type of electric field vectors around it, and these electric field vectors, as we see, are diverging in nature. They diverge from the charge, positive charge, and if we consider a negative charge similarly, we will also get similar type of electric field, but they will be converging to the negative charge. So these are the electric field vectors for positive and negative charges, and these are actually electric lines of force. And starting from this, I should say here that this starting from this charge, the electric field lines goes up to infinite distance, or in this case negative charge, it comes from infinite to the negative charge. And if we take two charges, one positive and another negative, separated by a small distance, we will get the lines of force of this type. This is the case of the electric dipole. And you see, the electric field lines, that is the electric field always starts from the positive charge and it ends at the negative charge. So these are the electric field lines for a electric dipole. Now we consider a spherical polar coordinate system. Spherical polar coordinate system. And in spherical polar coordinate system, any arbitrary elementary vector can be written as dl as dr r hat plus r d theta theta hat plus r sine theta d theta phi hat, where r hat, theta hat and phi hat, these are the three unit vectors in the spherical polar coordinate system, and this can be obtained in this way. This r vector is directed along the direction of increment of the radial coordinate. So this is r vector, this is directed along the direction of increment of r, and this is the polar angle, and at this point the unit vector theta is taken along the direction of increment of this polar angle theta, and there is another angle which is called azimuthal angle, and along the direction of increment of this azimuthal angle we can take another unit vector which is phi. So r theta phi, these are the three unit vectors mutually perpendicular to each other, and they constitute an orthogonal system in spherical polar coordinate system. So, we take the scalar product of electric field with this elementary vector, and this gives 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by q over r square dr. And this, since the electric field is independent of theta and phi, these two coordinates, so we get this product in this way. Now, this product actually gives the work done in moving a unit positive charge in the electric field E through a distance dl. So, the work done in moving the unit positive charge, when we move the positive charge, unit positive charge, suppose the charge is here and we get an electric field around it, and suppose from this point, this is the point A, and we consider another point B whose coordinates are RA and RB. Now, we move the unit positive charge from the point A to B, and we get the work done by integrating this scalar product. So, this would give you minus 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught if we make the integration of this quantity. So, it would give you minus 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q over r with the limiting value of the coordinates r a and r b. So, finally, we get 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught q over r a minus q over r b. Here we see that the work done does not depend on the path itself, rather it depends on the two endpoints between which we are moving the unit charge. So, it is independent of a path. Here we see that the work done is independent of path. Now, if we consider a closed path, then the 2 points, the initial point and the final point, will be same, that is R A will be R B, will be equal to R B. And so, for the closed path, this integration E dot dl will vanish. So, here we see that the total work done in moving an unit positive charge through a closed path is 0, and this is the characteristic of the conservative force field. As we know, in conservative force field, the work done does not depend on the path, rather it depends only on the two endpoints if we move from one point to another point. Here also we get the work done in case of the electrostatic field. For moving a unit positive charge, the work done is 0 in a closed path. So, the electrostatic field is conservative in nature. And if we apply Stokes theorem, to this integral, we can convert this line integral in a closed path. This line integral can be converted into a surface integral applying Stokes theorem. So, this gives curl of E dot dA, and this is 0 as we have got. So, the curl of this vector, electric field vector, is 0. So, this electric field vector is actually E rotational vector, and it does not contain any rotational component in it. Next, we shall define another function which is called the electric potential. So, electric potential. And we define the electric potential in this way. Electric potential is phi. At any point P, the electric potential is defined as minus integration from a standard point O to the particular point where we have to determine the electric potential. So it will be minus integration E dot dl. Now this point, this O point, this point is standard reference point. Standard reference point, and usually we take this reference point as a point at infinity, and where this electric potential tends to 0 at infinite distance, because there will be no the distance of the point at infinity, there will be no field and there will be no effect of the charge, and this, naturally the electric potential will be 0. And in general form, we can write the electric potential at any point r as minus infinite to r E dot dl. Taking this standard point as infinite, we can write the electric potential at any point r defined as minus infinite to r E dot dl. So you see, the electric potential can also be defined as the work done in moving the unit positive charge. In moving the unit positive charge from the particular point, the point concerned, where we have to determine the electric potential, to the point at infinity. Next, we find the difference of the electric potential at 2 points. Suppose here is our charge, and we consider as we have earlier. See, this is the point A, and this is another point B. We have considered earlier. The coordinates are RA and RB, and the potential at the difference in the potential at these 2 points, this can be written as phi B minus phi A, according to the definition of the electric potential as we have earlier defined. We can write the difference as B E dot dl minus of from the starting point to A E dot dl. This will finally give you integration A to B E dot dl. And the left hand side, that is the difference in the potential, can also be written in this way: A to B integration grad phi dot dl. We can write this difference in this way. So this will be minus A to B E dot dl. From this expression, from this, we can get a new relation between the electric field and the potential phi, and the electric field appears as the negative gradient of the potential. And you see, we get a negative sign here. This comes from the definition of the electric potential, where we have wherefrom we have started defining in this electric potential, and this is really a tradition.